The debate over gun laws is following predictable patterns following the mass shooting at the Covenant School in Nashville that took the lives of 3 children and 3 staff members. Just over 5 years ago, the voices supporting gun control got louder when hundreds of thousands of people turned up across the country for the first ever March for Our Lives. We're joined now by one of those voices, David Hogg. He helped start the gun control advocacy group March for Our Lives after surviving the Marjory Stoneman Douglas high school shooting in 2018, where 17 people were killed. David, as somebody who has experienced a school shooting, what goes through your head when you hear news stories like the ones Monday out of Nashville?
What goes through my head isn't just thinking about the policies that should be passed and how we could prevent these things in the future. The first thing that goes through my head are the echoes that I still have to this day of hearing my sister scream as a 14-year-old that had 4 friends die in our high school that day, and the unconscionable wailing that I had to hear from her. And what I think about are the screams of the parents that have to find out after they find out that their kid isn't just missing, their child is dead. That's what I think about, and the enormous pain and suffering that comes with this, that often, the media can only show so much of, but you really never see the full scale of.
Right. And it reinitiates the trauma for all of you who, the numbers of you who have been through this all across this country in incidents like this.
It does. It does. And it's exhausting because every single time this happens, it's just another cycle of endless debate, inaction a lot of the time, and then just, people, Republican leaders like, the representative of the district in Nashville say it themselves. They don't think that they're going to be able to do much to address this or really anything at all a lot of the time, and that's just shameful. It's awful. We can all disagree, but the idea that we can't do anything to save our kids from gun violence is inherently antithetical to the very principles of our nation, the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican. If somebody thinks that we can't do anything to stop our kids from dying in schools and their communities, they shouldn't be in government.
Let me ask you about that. After you mentioned exhaustion, after a shooting like this, there's a mixture of anger and exhaustion. As somebody who's been working so hard on this issue for so many years, how do you read that mix right now? Is it worse than when you first started working? And is it how do you read that mix of anger and exhaustion?
I think the way that I read that mixture, the mixture of anger and exhaustion that I feel after these shootings, is to understand that it's obviously valid that we're feeling this way and understandable, but that we should not let our exhaustion evolve into fatalism and just acting like this is the way that things have to be. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. States like Massachusetts have a common sense set of laws in place that is a stringent process to get a gun, but is relatively straightforward. If every state had the same gun death rate as Massachusetts, we could cut gun deaths by 70% in this country. This isn't theoretical. This is something that we could do right now if we federalized those laws. So what I really try to do is hold on to the hope, as hard as that is, especially in these dark moments, because ultimately we can't stop fighting, especially when our kids are dying every day from this.
What have you learned in the last 5 years about what's possible, where the points of agreement are, and just how to work towards the goals that you've been pushing for?
I think what I've learned about what's possible is, frankly, a lot of what's possible is up to the American people. When we started speaking out after the shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in 2018, I was 17 years old. There were people that said, "You're just a bunch of kids. You're not going to change anything because this is Florida." And we said, "Watch us." And we went out there and we showed up at the state legislature. And despite having a Republican trifecta, a state known other than the Sunshine State as the Gunshine State, we passed gun laws in a Republican state legislature with a Republican governor as they were running for office. And not a single person who voted for those laws lost their reelection because they voted for those laws. What I've learned over these years is that what is possible is what we believe is possible. If we believe that we can't address this and that all hope is lost, all hope will be lost. We have to realize that we can address this and we can substantially reduce the number of gun deaths. And the last thing I would say is that, look, there's a lot of disagreement on how we address this issue, but there is agreement on the fact that we need to act. All of us agree on that. And what I've learned is that there is a difference between disagreement and hatred. I can respect people who don't agree with me, but I can accept that there's nothing that we can do to address this issue. When we can fund more research at the CDC and NIH to figure out what policies work best and fund more mental health for the 2/3 of gun deaths that are suicides, we can make progress on this, but it's going to come from dialogue and not debate. We understand what we don't agree on. We must focus on what we can and act there and get involved with our state legislatures and vote too.
All right, David Hogg, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.